This is Homestand NBA. I'm your host, Noor Zainab. Next to the one, the only, they're always gonna be here, the J Unit, Jelani Goodridge-Reid and Justin Pooni. You guys, there was no LeBron last night. Toronto had it pretty sad. So many players, not players, sorry, so many fans bought tickets to see LeBron in action, Anthony Davis in action, Russell Westbrook in action. But Anthony Davis was sick in Cleveland, so he took the night off in Toronto the night after. And LeBron James chose to sit because of his ankle that night. Justin and I were downtown. We saw a lot of sad fans that were there in LeBron jerseys who they just couldn't bother showing up that night. Sorry, guys. Sorry, folks. But the Raptors still got that win, as they should have, because there was no LeBron and no AD. So pretty much you had Russell Westbrook on that squad that you had to stop. But the Raptors won, as they should have. My question, though, is can you have a bad win? Because in my eyes, yes, they won, and they won by a pretty hefty margin, but their shooting was so off. They scored 44% from the field. They were, I think, about 23% from three.
28%.
28%. Thank you so much, Justin Pooni, our stats guy over here. And then only, I think about, it was Chris Boucher who was able to get 50% from three, but all the other guys had 25%. Like Fred VanVleet himself, although he had a better shooting night, and if you looked at the ratio of the shots he took versus what he made, it was not that pretty at all. And they let the Lakers go on runs. There was about a 16-0 run at some point. The three-point defending was off. It just was not a very clean-looking game. So I know we've seen games where we have had good losses. You know, you're happy with the way the team played and the production that was there, even though we had lost. Absolutely, moral victories. But for this one, would you say this was a bad win?
I mean, in my books, a win's a win, right? At the end of the day, at the end of the season, they're not going to look back, you played sloppy against the Lakers. We're going to take that win away from you. Like, you have it in the bank. A win is a win. There was discouraging things I saw during the game. As you mentioned, Fred VanVleet shot 3 for 12 from three-point range. We talked about it yesterday. He's got to get back to a higher percentage if the Raptors want any success. Pascal Siakam had an efficient game.
Yep.
I felt that, and it could have been simply because no LeBron, no AD, and they kind of let the foot off the gas pedal. They kind of underestimated the Lakers. But like you said, the Lakers went on some nice runs. But then again, that Lakers squad last night, it was funny. Last night, somebody told me at the game, I don't think the Lakers had a player over a 79 rating on NBA 2K. Right?
It's probably true. Right?
So,
if you look at what they brought out on the floor.
Exactly.
Right?
It wasn't a very good team. So it could have very much have been that the Raptors took the foot off the gas pedal, which is not the Raptors are in no position to be taking their foot off the gas pedal. They need to be stacking up wins because, as we said before, their season and their schedule gets a lot tougher coming up, and they need to, they played well against Orlando. They showed up valiantly against Boston, but Boston just overpowered them in the second half. And last night they got the win, but there was a lot of sloppy plays, a lot of missed shots, and those are some bad habits you don't want to see creeping back into their game, especially when their competition level increases.
Yeah, you talked about the bad habits. Don't want that, of course. You talked about the schedule, and you're looking at the Eastern Conference. So now we're in the 7th spot, 13-12. That's nice. But if you're looking at the teams above us right now, they're playing really, really good basketball. So I hope that those mistakes, that we saw last night, the shooting, particularly the shooting, needs to be better at points down the stretch, right? Because there's going to be a point in December and January when it gets more serious, right?
Absolutely.
And when we're going to see, now we're seeing the teams that are really contending, teams
you're seeing the cream rise to the top.
and then the teams that aren't really doing much, right? So I hope that the shooting is better. And I spoke about VanVleet yesterday, and I said he needs to be shooting the ball better, right? That's my all-star. I expect better. Yes, he had 20 plus, so we'll give him that. But just the number there has to be better. I do like what OG gave us, on the offensive side of the ball, because we obviously know what he does defensively, but the offensive side obviously helps. But yeah, this was basically what Justin said. It was a game where they didn't have their guys. The Lakers didn't have their guys, so they played down to the level of competition that the Lakers presented, right? Austin Reeves, Scotto Anderson, like they didn't really care, to be honest. Like had it been AD, had it been LeBron and those guys out there, it would have been a different look, right?
Absolutely.
I think we would have seen less mistakes. They would have, Nurse would have had them ready to go, for sure.
And I think with also LeBron and AD not being there, you saw it in the crowd too, right? They mentioned on the broadcast that the crowd wasn't really into it, and players do feel that energy, and maybe I'm not saying it's an excuse, but there was
No,
a
it's a
lack
different
of,
type of game.
there was a lack of energy
Yeah,
and
it's a different type of
atmosphere in the
game.
building.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the way that I look at it is this is supposed to be a stat pad game. Like you're playing against
Yeah.
the Lakers. There's no LeBron James. There's no Anthony Davis. You just have Russell Westbrook and you can contain him. You have so many defenders on the squad. And Pascal Siakam last night had 27 points, 10 rebounds, 7 dimes. He was 3 dimes away from getting a triple double. And honestly, he could have gotten that
Yeah,
in
he
the
played
beginning
well.
of
He
the
played well,
fourth
for
quarter.
sure.
It was just a matter of this teammates not getting their shots. The other part of that too for me was like this is a spot where you get to have guys like Jelani Goodridge and Malachi Flynn come off the bench and get more reps in games like this because it's supposed to be an easy win. You're
Yeah.
against the 13th team in the Western Conference. So get those guys that don't get development reps. But hopefully they will get some reps this weekend because tomorrow they play against the Magic and on Sunday it's another round of the Magic. We did beat them, as you guys mentioned, just a couple of weeks ago. It was a pretty sound victory over this team, and we have them facing again. I think there's this whole thing about the NBA trying not to have long periods of teams traveling,
Yeah.
so they're
It's a lot of back-to-backs.
Yeah.
It's more-
Exactly.
it's similar to like the MLB schedule
Yeah.
with the mini-series. It's different. It's a different look, right?
They're going to see a lot of this where you just played this team, now you're going to see them back to back again.
Yeah.
So I think a sweep for Orlando could be incoming this weekend if
should
the
be.
Raptors want to take it seriously.
Should.
What do you guys think?
But I don't know. Like,
Absolutely, it
if you
should
look
be.
what Orlando just did the other night to
Yeah.
the Clippers, okay, nobody had the Clippers losing like that, but they did.
Kawhi was back.
You know, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. He was on the court. He was on the court.
He
So
was blamed.
I think with Orlando, they're a young team with a lot of promising talent. So
Franz Wagner, I'm a believer in him.
I love Paulo Banchero. I think he's really has the potential to be a bona fide all-star every year. I don't know about if he's gonna be a superstar like that, like upper echelon guy, but he will be a very good player for a very long time. This Orlando team has young talent, like I said, and they can get you on any given night, right? So the Raptors have to be careful. They can't play down to their competition once again. You saw on Saturday when they just played Orlando, they steamrolled them as they were supposed to
That's
do.
how it should be.
That's how it should be. You don't want to see, we said, bad habits creeping in, where they played down to Orlando this weekend, and Orlando can split it. Because these are games the Raptors need, right? You need to
that's
be
right.
banking wins, especially in a season like the NBA where it's a marathon and you go through the stretches. You need to be banking certified wins.
Yeah. I think though I expect it to actually go both ways. I think that we're gonna get one, they're gonna get one. Why? Because the Raptors I find inconsistency.
Very
in play.
inconsistency.
I find
Very, very
so far this
inconsistency.
season, yes, we've dealt with injury. Yes, we've dealt with other things. But that's led to us winning games that we should win, and then we lose games that we should win. So it's happened throughout the year, and I do like what Orlando has in terms of the talent. Right? They're not like a Eastern Conference contender by any stretch, but they can give you some issues. Right? They do have some talent on that roster, and I talked about it. Franz Wagner, I think
Their
to
front
me-
court is deep.
yeah,
with
their
talent.
front court's been deep. They have good guards who are quick, who can make plays. So, the Raptors for sure. They cannot just say, okay, it's Orlando.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
They cannot say that. And we don't have the right to say that right now.
there's absolutely
With,
no-
like I said, the inconsistent play and where we're at in the East right now.
And you need to win now. Why would you want to play catch up later on? You
That's
saw
right,
with
that's-
Philly, right? Now they have to play catch up big time. Same with the Nets. I mean, although they are climbing up those rankings again, that means getting consecutive streaks of wins to get yourself to that point. And on the other hand, too, as you guys mentioned, Orlando Magic, they do have really good pieces. They have really young guys that are energetic. And when you have young guys on the floor that want to put the effort in, they're going to be a scary sight. So you're not going to be guaranteed a perfect win every single time. You guys mentioned Franz Wagner. There's Jalen Suggs, who hasn't even played most of the season just yet. They've got Paolo Banchero, the #1 draft pick of last year. But the rise right now has been Bol Bol. Mr. Bol Bol has been the talk of the town for Orlando. He currently is averaging 9.8 points, 6 rebounds, 61% from the field, and 41% from 3 over the last 5 games. How will the Raptors contain him this weekend?
You know what? I was watching the game on Saturday when they played. Was it Saturday they played Orlando?
Yeah, I believe it's
Saturday, right? Saturday, yeah. And I was watching the way of how big Bol looks compared to everybody else. I knew
Giant.
and the way he can move at that size, and he has a handle. Like he was just driving to the lane, laying it up, all that stuff. If he can stay healthy, knock on wood, stay healthy, and continue to develop.
Put it all together.
He could be very, very dangerous, and that's why he was so highly touted, player
prospect, yeah.
prospect because he has all the physical attributes. It's about, can he stay healthy and can that game, can he put it all together?
Like he was supposed to be a better version of Kristaps.
Exactly, exactly.
Right? Like his potential.
And he hasn't really got there yet. But now with a young Orlando squad where guys are kind of all around, his age, and he's not, sitting on the bench in Denver again or riding the pond. He can actually get valuable minutes. That could be exactly what he needs to get his career back on track. If he ever puts it together, boy, oh boy, watch out, because he can handle the rock. He can take it to the rim. He can shoot, as you mentioned. He just needs the playing time, and I think the Raptors.
Orlando's the perfect spot for him for that reason, right? So real quick, guys, for this weekend, 2 of 2. Are we getting them both?
No.
Oh, so Jelani says 1 of 1. You're
one,
split them.
yeah,
Or
split.
them. Justin?
They should get both.
Okay.
I think they will get both, but Orlando
it's a
does scare me.
Okay, we will see. We will see if the Raptors play down to their opponent once again this whole weekend, but we know they need this win desperately. They need it. Check us out on 3 in the Key, where we talk today about Brittany Griner returning home. We'll also talk about the best duos in the league for both ends of the court, and whether that's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We're available everywhere at the Parlay, Spotify, Apple. Talk about SoundCloud, YouTube. We have people that listen to YouTube over here too. So wherever you want, we can't shame you. We get it. See you next time on Homestand NBA.